Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to continue our remaining chapter, the Cop and the Anthem. Let's start the chapter. Dear students, open your textbooks and see on page number 30, paragraph number 1st. Soapy was seized with a sudden fear that some dreadful enchantment had rendered him immune to arrest. And now Soapy was thinking that policeman was not arresting him. Why this is happening? And he was thinking that some enchantment means some magic has happened, and that magic is opposing to arrest Soapy to the policeman. He was in a state of panic, and when he came upon another policeman longing grandly in front of a glittering theatre, he caught at the immediate straw of disorderly conduct. He was in a state of panic. Panic means scared. Now Soapy was scared. Soapy was afraid. And when he came upon another policeman longing grandly in front of a glittering theatre, there was a movie house, and in front of that movie house there was a policeman, and that policeman was sleeping there. Longing means spending time lazily. He was spending time there lazily. He caught at the immediate straw of disorderly conduct. And Soapy looked at that policeman, and he thought that this policeman will interrupt him. This policeman will bring some hindrance in the way of Soapy. On the sidewalk, Soapy began to yell drunken gibberish at the top of his harsh voice. And Soapy was walking there. Soapy was walking on the road, and he was yelling, he was shouting loudly, drunken gibberish. Soapy was drunken. He had drunk wine, and he was speaking some gibberish language. He was speaking some meaningless language at the top of his harsh voice, and he was shouting loudly. He was shouting at his top voice. He danced, he howled, raved, and otherwise disturbed the skies. And Soapy was dancing there. He was howling. Howling means shouting loudly. Raved. Raved means he was speaking nonsense. And otherwise disturbed the skies, and he was disturbing the atmosphere there. He was shouting, he was howling, he was dancing, and he was speaking gibberish language. He was speaking meaningless language, and the policeman was watching all this, but he did not say anything to Soapy, or he did not try to arrest Soapy for shouting. The policeman merely twirled his club, turned his back to Soapy, and remarked to a citizen. And policeman was standing there, and he turned his face towards another side. Initially he was looking at Soapy, but now he turned his side, and he did his back towards Soapy, and he said to citizens, he said to people there, "It's one of them lads' celebration, the goose egg they give to the Hartford College." And he said, in Hartford College there is some celebration, and that's why children are dancing, or students are dancing outside because of that celebration. Noisy but no harm, and these students make noise, but they will not harm anybody. They will not hurt anybody. They will not injure anybody. We have instructions to let them be. And he said, we have orders not to catch them or not to say anything to them. The boys who are making noise, we have instructions to make them let them make noise. Disconsolate. Disconsolate means very unhappy. Soapy stopped his unavailing racket. Unavailing means vain, useless. Now Soapy was dancing, shouting, and what was his aim? His aim was that the policeman should arrest him. But Soapy thought, now it is useless. Shouting is useless, meaningless, because it is not making any effect on the policeman, and policeman is not arresting him. Would never a policeman lay hands on him? And he was thinking that policeman will never catch him, or policeman will never say him anything. In his fancy, the island seemed an unattainable. Unattainable means not acquirable. He was thinking that now he cannot attain, he cannot obtain, he will not get his island, means he will never go in the jail. He was thinking like this. In his fancy, the island seemed an unattainable Arcadia. Arcadia means paradise. He was comparing jail with paradise. He was comparing jail with heaven, and he was thinking that now it seems it is not possible for him to go in the jail. He buttoned his thin coat against the chilling wind, and there was a wind. The wind was blowing, and the wind was cold, and he was feeling coldness. That's why he buttoned his coat. In a cigar store, he saw a well-dressed man lighting a cigar at the swinging light. There was a light and there was a shop, cigar shop. There was one person. That person was lighting cigar in the swinging light. There was a light and he was lighting his cigar. He had set his silk umbrella by the door on entering, and that man had entered into the cigar shop, and he had put his umbrella outside that shop. Soapy stepped inside, grabbed the umbrella and sauntered up with it slowly. Soapy went there, he took that umbrella and he sauntered. Sauntered means he was walking slowly outside the shop. He came outside the shop with that umbrella and he was going out slowly. The man at the cigar light followed hastily, and that man who had kept that umbrella outside, that man followed Soapy. That man was coming back Soapy. My umbrella, he said sternly, and that man said angrily, hey, what are you doing? That umbrella is mine. Why are you taking my umbrella? Oh, is it? Sneered Soapy. Soapy mocked at that person and he said, oh, this umbrella is yours. Is it yours? Adding insult to petty larceny. Petty larceny. Larceny means theft. Petty means small. Soapy was thinking that I have done a small theft and this fellow is abusing me. So Soapy mocked that person. Well, why don't you call a policeman? Then Soapy said, yes, this umbrella is yours. Then why don't you call a policeman? Call a policeman and tell to that policeman that this fellow has stolen your umbrella. I took it, your umbrella. Why don't you call a cop? Cop means police. Why don't you call a cop? There stands one on the corner. Look there is a policeman at that corner. Policeman is stopping there. You call him and you tell him that I have stolen your umbrella. The umbrella owner slowed his steps. Soapy did likewise, with a premonition that luck would again run against him. The policeman eyed at the two curiously. There was policeman, and policeman was looking at Soapy and that person. They were quarreling with each other. They were quarreling with each other for that umbrella. Policeman was looking at them, but policeman did not say anything to them. And Soapy thought that now also it is not possible to achieve his heaven, to achieve his paradise. Of course, said the umbrella man. Well, you know how these mistakes occur. If it's your umbrella, I hope you will excuse me. I picked it up this morning in a restaurant. If you recognize it as yours, why I hope you will. And then that person said to Soapy, Soapy, if this umbrella is yours, then you can take it. Because in the morning I had gone into a hotel, I had gone into a restaurant, and by mistake I took this umbrella with me. This umbrella is not mine. If you have recognized that this is your umbrella, if you have identified that this is your umbrella, then you can keep it with you. Because I had brought it by mistake. If it is your umbrella, then I have no problem. You can take away your umbrella. Of course, it's mine, said Soapy savagely. And now Soapy said savagely, wildly, of course, this umbrella is mine. The ex-umbrella man retreated. Retreated means went back. And the man who was saying that this umbrella is mine, he went back. The policeman hurried to assist a tall blonde in an opera cloak across the street in front of a streetcar that was approaching 2 blocks away. And that was one man. He was coming there. He had yellow-colored hair, and policeman was busy in helping that person. Policeman was busy in helping that man. Soapy walked eastward through a street damaged by improvements, and now Soapy went in the direction east, and there was a road. That road was in bad condition. That road was damaged for improvement. The work of road was going on there. They were repairing the road. He hurled the umbrella angrily into an excavation. Excavation means ditch. Soapy threw away that umbrella into the ditch. He muttered against the men who wear helmets and carry clubs, and he was abusing the men who wear helmets. Because he wanted to fall into their clutches, they seemed to regard him as a king who could do nothing wrong, and the people who wear helmet, they were thinking that Soapy is a king and Soapy will not do any harm to anybody. At length, Soapy reached one of the avenues to the east where the glitter and turmoil was but faint. Now Soapy reached at one road, and there the glitter, there was no glittering, and turmoil means noise. There was less noise. The road was silent. The atmosphere was calm. He dragged himself toward Madison Square, for the homing instinct survives even when the home is a park bench. Now his home was park bench. Park means garden. In the garden there was a bench, and Soapy used to spend his night there in that garden, and that bench was his home. That bench was a house for Soapy. And now he was thinking, it is not possible to reach in the jail, to reach his paradise or heaven, his dream paradise. He was thinking it is not possible. But on an unusually quiet corner, Soapy came to a standstill. There was one corner and there was silence. Soapy stopped there. Here was an old church, and there was old church. Quaint means old-fashioned, rambling. Rambling means spreading irregularly and gabled. Its shape was triangular, gabled. Through one violet-stained window, a soft light glowed, and one window of that of that church was open and soft light was coming outside from that window. No doubt the organist loitered over the keys, making sure of his mastery of the coming Sabbath anthem. And there was one person and he was playing some musical instrument. He was doing practice there for coming festival, for coming religious day. Sabbath means religious day. For there drifted out to Sophie's ears sweet music that caught and held him transfixed against the convolutions of the iron fence. There was a fence to the church. It was iron fence, and some sound of music was coming out from that window. Sophie stopped there to listen that music. The music was very sweet. The music was melodious, and that's why Sophie stopped there to listen to that music. The moon was above, full and radiant. Radiant means bright. Vehicles and pedestrians were few. There were few vehicles, and pedestrians means people who walk on foot. There were less people. Passers-by. Pedestrians means passers-by. There were less passers-by, there were less vehicles, and there was a moon in the sky. And the moon, there was a full brightness in the sky. Sparrows twittered sleepily in the eaves, or a little while the scene might have been a country churchyard. There were sparrows, the sparrows were twittering there, and the anthem that the organist played cemented Sophie to the iron fence, for he had known it well in the days when his life contained such things as mothers and roses and ambitions and friends and immaculate thoughts and colors. And Sophie was listening to music, and that music reminded Sophie of his old days. He had his mother, he had friends, and he used to enjoy the smell of roses. He had ambitions in life, he had dreams in life, and he remembered all those things in the silence when he was listening to that music. The conjunction of Sophie's receptive state of mind and the influences about the old church brought a sudden and wonderful change in his soul. And because of calm atmosphere and melodious music, Sophie's mindset was changed. His soul was changed. He viewed with rising horror the pit into which he had tumbled, and now he was thinking about the pit, about the ditch into which he had tumbled. He had fallen down. The degraded days, unworthy desires, and he was thinking about bad days. His useless desires, dead hopes, his dead hopes, wrecked faculties. Wrecked means resigned the faculties and base motives that made up his existence. And the main base of his existence, his main aim in life was to go in the jail, was to go to prison. And also in a moment his heart responded thrillingly to this strange mood. Now his mood was changed, and his heart also was responding to this thrilled, means excited situation. He was thrilled, he was happy. A strong impulse moved him into, impulse means feeling, a strong feeling entered into his mind, into his heart. Battle with the desperate fact, and now he was battling, means fighting. He was fighting with his desperate fact. He was fighting with his nervousness. He was fighting with negative thinking. He would pull himself out of the mire. Mire means complicated, unpleasant situation, and now he was thinking he will come out of this complicated situation and would make a man of himself again, and once again he will become a good person, holy person, pious person, virtuous person. he would conquer the evil that had enslaved him. Evil had enslaved him. Evil things had made him slave, but he will conquer upon it. He will win it. There was time he was young age. He would resurrect his old eager ambitions and pursue them without faltering. And he was thinking he is a young man. And once again he will revive his old dreams. And once again he will become a good person and he will do some job. Those solemn but sweet organ notes had set up a revolution in him, and there were beautiful notes, there was beautiful music, and that beautiful music had made revolution into the mind of Soapy. Tomorrow he would go into the roaring downtown district and find work. Tomorrow he will go into that district, one place, and he will try to find some work. A fur importer had once offered him a place as driver. There was one fur importer, there was one businessman, and he had offered Soapy the job of a driver. He would be somebody in the world, he would, and he was thinking that he will become somebody in this world. Soapy felt a hand laid on arm, but Soapy felt that somebody had caught his arm, his hand. He looked quickly around into the impassive face of a policeman, and Soapy looked that a policeman had caught his hand. "What are you doing here?" asked the officer. That policeman asked Soapy, "What are you doing here?" "Nothing," said Soapy. Soapy said, "No, nothing. I am doing nothing here." "Then come along," said the policeman. "If you are doing nothing here, then come with me." 3 months on the island, said the magistrate in the police court the next morning, and next morning he was took into court and judge announced ordered 3 months imprisonment for Soapy, and Soapy was put in jail. Here ends our lesson. Dear students, if you like my video, please like it, comment on it, share it, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed it. Thanks a lot.